Alright, this is long overdue. I've been meaning to put together a video of everything I'm growing on the property. Just the warning to those who want to come visit, stay out. I've got a security dog on premises who patrols the area, scares off all the riffraff. Alright, starting off, I've got this seedling mulberry. This thing popped up in my orchard near my orange trees and thought I'd keep it. Figure I could top work it to something interesting later. But my neighbor has a Pakistani mulberry, so he has a Pakistani and a white. Hopefully it's the Pakistani that is a seedling. This is a seedling nectarine that this thing's a survivor. Grew up underneath some bush for several years, didn't even notice it. While I was pulling out a bush, I found it underneath it, so I decided to keep it. See, it has some nectarines on it. It's just a bush, so I'll probably add a bunch of other stone fruit varieties to it. It's a cherry of the Rio Grande. I've got some cherries growing on it. You can see here. I got this one. This is a garnet seedling from Kevin Jones. This thing's been really productive. Only about 2 to 3 years, but really strong grower, and just parked it down here at the bottom of my property. And a white sapote that has just been murdered by snails. It'll survive and push out new growth this year, but it's had a hard time getting going. And a seedling loquat from Vista white fruit that I got from my sister-in-law. It's doing well. This is about 2 years old, really starting to hit its stride. Here's some fire damaged palms that just keep surviving, and I don't know, maybe 40 feet tall. So I figured let's throw some pitaya on this thing and let them just climb the trees. I need some scaffolds for these guys, and palm tree will do well enough. I think that's a Jamaican red, and I think I mixed Soul Kitchen in here as well. There's a bunch of other dragon fruit varieties I've thrown in here. This guy's starting to take off. I think there's a Halley's Comet that loves to grow, climbing up the palm. Oh, this is Delight, and probably something else. I think I put 2 varieties per pot, and I've got one more down here. Not really keeping track of these guys because these were just some leftovers from varieties that I labeled up near the top. So yeah, I'll let these guys grow. They only go so high before they start falling over. Here's a Frederick's Passion Vine. This thing's pretty old, maybe 6-7 years old. I should probably cut it, pull it out. It's not quite as productive as a new planting, but got sympathetic to this tree and let it do its thing. It'll keep pushing out fruit. Here's one that got stuck in the fence. Yeah, I'll leave it in there. I don't have time to pull that out. All right, big pecan tree. This thing generates an enormous amount of pecans that I share with the crows right around fall season. I get everything on the lower branches. They take everything up top. There's no chance anything's gonna fall because they've got it by then. Little Mickey Mouse cactus that popped up in my vineyard. I kept it, just I don't particularly care for cactus fruit, but we'll see, maybe it puts out a good tuna. All right, see what else we got over here into the shade structure. Everything I have in my greenhouse up the top of the property gets moved down here during the heat of summer, put underneath a shade cloth. For now, I've got this Brewster lychee. This is going to be my last shot at trying to grow lychee. I got this from Bill up in Long Beach. Good looking tree. So I'll plant it out later. Bunch of seedling stuff. I think these are die snail. These were a bunch of potted Yangmei seeds. If they haven't popped up by now, they're probably not going to, but I got a bunch of them that already germinated. And then some, these are Lolita Suriname cherries, or seedlings of Lolita. And then some loquats that I got from Kevin's place up in Santa Barbara during fruit tasting. I forgot who, someone brought a ton of different loquat up there, and I grabbed a bunch of the seeds and took them back and germinated them. This is Eugenia piriformis, doing really well. Seems to like it out here. And Eugenia tenui pendiculata. This is one of my favorite Eugenia. Just beautiful foliage. Seems to do really well and is really starting to hit its stride now. Got thornless blackberry. Not quite thornless, but thornless enough. Just let it grow along the fence line here. And then I've got a fence line of about 5 Oro Blanco grapefruit. Again, these just put out a ton of grapefruit. I don't particularly care for them, but friends and family seem to like them, so I let them come and eat it. And the rest go to the ground and become mulch. Water tank feeds everything down here. I've got 3 wells on the property, all pretty much here at the bottom of the property. 1, 2, and 3. That one goes about 1,200 feet down. So I'm feeding most of these trees down here dinosaur piss. So that goes down below the valley floor. We're up on an elevation of about 700 feet here. And then here's a Babcock peach. This thing really suffers from leaf curl, but it doesn't stop it from fruiting. You see, I've got to come down here and thin these guys out. Just a tremendous amount of fruit produced by this tree. It's an okay white peach. I don't know, not a huge fan of white peaches and nectarines, but my wife likes them, so I grow them out. Here's a seedling cherimoya that I'm top working over to cherylata right now. You can see the big cherimoya leaves. Here's a cherylata branch, painter's cherylata. You can see the difference between the big fat leaves and the skinnier leaf there. It's about that time of the year where all the leaves will start dropping and we'll get new growth and flowers. Here's a Panamint nectarine. This is yellow nectarine, and this also got hit pretty hard by leaf curl this year. But it's got a few, I'm thinning it right now as we're going through. But here's a few nectarines holding on. This tree grows really well. I don't know, I love nectarines. This one's just a so-so nectarine. I probably should have did a bit more research before buying this one. Here's a cotton candy apium. This is a white-fleshed apium that does really well. It's got some fruit on it this year. Last year this tree was loaded with fruit. This year, just a few sparse ones here and there. It needs a few more chill hours, but it's a tasty white apium. Here's another seedling cherimoya. I just let this one do its thing. I can't tell the difference between the different selections of cherimoya. They're all just taste like cherimoya to me. It's not like mango where the flavor is differentiated. Here's I think this is Arctic Star white nectarine. This is another one that just puts out a ton of fruit every year. Actually, I probably won't have to thin it this year. Did find enough jobs self-thinning from the leaf curl. I could spray this thing with stylet oil and prevent most of the leaf curl, but depends on how much time I have to do it. Here's another cherimoya seedling. This one puts out an unbelievable amount of cherimoya without hand pollinating. So this is my favorite tree, and the fruit are super tasty. I think I've recorded up to 30 bricks with some of the fruit coming off this tree before. All right, here's my only cherry tree, true cherry. This is a Royal Crimson, I believe, and it's a royal pain in the ass to keep short. This thing just wants to grow straight up to the sky, not really branch out, so I keep pruning it back, forcing it to branch out. Haven't tried the cherry yet though, but I've heard it's pretty good for this area. Best persimmon around. This is the Fuyu persimmon. This is another one that's been in the ground for maybe six years or more, maybe 5 years. And you can see how short it is. The deer love to come around every year and defoliate this thing. They won't touch the little fruit all over it, so still get some fruit, but the tree's really suffered from not having leaves on it when it's ready to fruit. Here's a fig tree. I think this is the Black Mission, Mission Black, whatever it is. I'm not a huge fan of figs. They're just too sweet for me. I like a little bit of tartness. I'm grafting on a few different varieties my neighbor has. He gave me some sticks that they're starting to take now. So we'll add some variety to it. Maybe I'll find a fig that I like. I'll go over here. Another apiarium. This is Flavor Delight. This is another apiarium that just puts out an absolute crap ton of fruit every year. And these are fantastic apiariums. Way better than apricots in my opinion. Juicier, larger, more flavorful. But you can see, you go in here and there's just fruit everywhere. I don't even worry about thinning it out because the fruit are almost perfect size as apricot size. Here's an Anna apple. This whole area used to be Anna apples and I yanked them all out. Left this one since this was the largest and most productive. I don't know, it's an apple. Not too exciting, but it does well in this area for the heat level we get in Escondido. Parfianca pomegranate. It's starting to put out all of its flowers for the year. Some are already starting. This is by far the best pomegranate I've ever had. And I've had a number of them. Big dark seeds, really soft. You can eat everything in it, and it puts out a ton of fruit. I just planted this year, mostly for the foliage. I figured I could add a nectaplum to it. This is the spicy nectaplum. Really pretty red foliage on the new growth. I've never tasted it, but how bad can it be, right? There's the grapefruits again. And the last one down here is the mid-pride. Looks like got a little bit of leaf curl on some of this new growth here, but another yellow flesh peach. I had to replace my old yellow flesh peach because we get these wood borers that really do damage, and the last one just got infested with it. So I left a couple peaches on here even though it's only a year old. Figured I'll let it try. Growth is not a problem with these trees, so You can tell this thing's already wants to be big, which is great. I love big trees. All right, and we're back to the Babcock. So that's everything at the bottom of the property. I've put everything down here because this gets the most cold units during the winter time. And I put trees down here that are mostly adapted to surviving the winters that we get. It'll freeze down here at the bottom of the property for sure. This is the vineyard. It's about an acre. I'm growing Grenache, Primitivo, and Cabernet Sauvignon on 1,100 vines. So this soaks up the lion's share of the water on the property. And my neighbor, he gets a bunch of oranges. His trees are always super healthy, pumping out tons of oranges. So no problem growing citrus out here, that's for sure. All right.